Today we're looking at the periodic table of the elements. Specifically, our question is, how are elements grouped on the periodic table? What period are they in? And how can we use those locations to determine the number of valence electrons for each element and the number of energy levels for each element? Sorry about that, my dog's barking. So there was a scientist named Mendeleev. There's several different ways of saying it. And he created the periodic table of the elements. He did not discover all the elements. He just recognized that the elements that were discovered at that time had similar characteristics, and he placed them in order, mainly by atomic mass or the size of the nucleus. Later, our modern table was arranged by atomic number, as they figured out that that was more appropriate. Again, all matter is made of atoms. All elements are made of atoms. All elements are arranged on the periodic table because they have similar chemical properties. These similar chemical properties are the things they have in common. For example, they're metals, or they have a similar number of electrons, or they won't react or bond with other atoms. And if you look at the periodic table, once you learn how to look at it, you'll see how this works. So chemical properties of the periodic table include the atomic number for the element, which again tells you the number of protons and electrons. Valence electrons, which are the electrons in the outermost energy level of each atom, determine whether or not an atom will bond or react. And this is why the atomic number is a chemical property, and we'll look more at that shortly, valence electrons. The second chemical property is reactivity of an atom. Will it bond with another atom, or is it stable? The third chemical property, you have to look at the properties of each element. Will that element react? Will it combust? Will it rust? Will it create bubbles, etc.? And finally, atomic radius, which is determined by the number of electron energy levels or shells, and that's going to tell you a lot about how that atom is going to react. So that's the chemical property. Physical properties of the periodic table, we've already looked at some of these. Is it a metal, a non-metal, or a metalloid? What state of matter is it in? For example, as you know, almost all metals are solids. A lot of the non-metals are gases. How dense is the substance? And again, you're going to find that the metals are more dense than the gases. You can also look at color, mass, volume, shape, and smell. And you're going to find out that all elements in the same group, which is your vertical column, basically have the same chemical and physical properties. So if you look at the groups on the periodic table, again, the groups are in vertical columns. So the group numbers go across the periodic table. Now, we will not be looking at groups 3 through 12. So for our purposes, group 13 will become group 3. Group 14 right here will become group 4. Group 15 will become group 5, and so on till group 18 is group 8. So it's group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, group 7, and group 8. Now, you may wonder what all the elements in group 1, for example, have in common. If you took the time and you sat down and you drew each one of these elements out, then you would find out that in their outermost energy level, they only have one electron. So their outermost energy level is going to tell you has the valence electrons, and you can look at the group number to determine how many valence there are. So in group 1, all the elements in this group have one valence electron. In group 2, all of the elements in this group have two valence electrons. In group 13 or 3, all of the elements have 3 valence electrons. In group 14, all of the elements have 4 valence electrons. In group 15 or 5, all the elements have 5 valence electrons. In group 16, they all have 6. In group 17 or 7, they all have 7. And in group 18, they all have 8. So again, group 1 or column 1, these are called your alkali metals. They are very highly reactive. Why are they highly reactive? This means they bond easily because they only have that one valence electron out there. And if you are full, and then you have this one outer electron and you can give it away and be full underneath, then that's what you're going to do. They're all metals and conduct heat and electricity, and they're very soft metals. Group 2 are your alkaline metals. They're also good conductors of heat and electricity. They bond easily because they only have 2 valence electrons, and so it's easy for them to give those 2 away and have their inner shell of 8 underneath full. Groups 3 through 12, again, those are your transition metals, and we are not going to really be looking at those. Groups 13, 14, and 15 are called other metals. They're all solids. Group 13 has 3 valence, group 14 has 4 valence, and group 16 has 6. Remember that the valence electrons are the number of outer electrons. And it's just easier to look and see what group they're in, and that tells you how many valence electrons they are. So it very much tells you how they're going to bond. Groups 14 through 16 are your nonmetals. They don't conduct electricity or heat very well. And group 16 has 6 valence electrons. Halogens are 5 nonmetal elements that are found in group 17. And again, if you need a reminder, this is group 17, your halogens. They bond easy because their outer shells are only missing 1 electron. They have 7, they only need 1. Now I need you to stop and think about this. If all the elements in group 17 have 7 valence electrons, so they only need 1, which group are they most likely to bond with? Hopefully you said group 1 because they have 1 valence electron to give away. Group 18 are your noble gases. They're called noble because they don't bond, they don't interact with all of the other atoms on the periodic table because their outer shells are full. Now I'm going to go back to the periodic table for just a minute just to sort of remind you that each one of these elements is trying to become stable. And what that means is they are trying to get 8 electrons in their outermost energy level. So again, if you are group 1 and you only have 1 valence electron in your outermost energy level, and you give that away to an element in group 17 who only needs 1, then both sets of these atoms, the one that gave the electron and the one that took it, are very happy. You're going to find that all of the metals give away electrons and all of the nonmetals take electrons. Okay, so an element can have anywhere from 1 to 8 valence electrons, and the number of valence electrons determines how reactive the element is. If it has 8 valence, like the noble gases, then it's totally full and unreactive and won't bond. If you have group 1 with 1 valence electron and group 7 that needs 1, those 2 groups are extremely reactive with each other. Groups 2 that has 2 valence electrons to give away, and group 6 that has 6 and needs 2, they're pretty reactive as well. And groups 3 that has 3 valence to give away, and groups 5 that needs 3, they're only kind of reactive, but they do react occasionally. Again, this is just the number of valence electrons per group. and you can see which ones are complementary: 1 and 7, 2 and 6, 3 and 5, and 4 and 4 in group 14. Now, here's some trends of these groups or columns. As you move down a group or column, the number of valence stays the same, of course. The atomic radius, the number of energy levels increases by 1. So as you go down a group, an energy level is added. And we're going let's skip this for now. Now let's look at the periods or rows on the periodic table. I think it was 5 slide. Now your periods go across in rows. Sorry, my dogs are, my bad. So the periods go across, and you can see in period 1 that there are only 2 elements, hydrogen and helium. And then in period 2, you have lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. Period 3, you can see goes across. Period 4, period 5, period 6. Now, period 6 is interesting because once you get to number 57, you can see that 58 through 71 are down here in the lanthanide series. And the reason why they bumped them down here is because they all have basically the same number of valence electrons, and they bond alike. So in order to keep the periodic table from being so huge and massive, they just tucked all these similar atoms right here in period 6. So, and then in period 7, they did the same thing. Once you get to actinium, then thulium, thaluricium, pretty much all have the same characteristics as actinium, so they tucked them in right here under actinium to keep the periodic table from being too big. Now, if you are an element in period 1, you have 1 energy level. If you are an element in period 2, you have 2 energy levels. If you are an element in period 3, you have 3 energy levels. Notice that it's getting larger as you go down. Now, when you get to 6, all of these lanthanides down here have 6 energy levels, just like the rest of the elements in period 6. And all of these actinides down here have 7 energy levels because they're in period 7. So the atoms in period 1 are much smaller than the atoms in period 7. Okay, this is just repeated information, so I'm going to skip that. All right. So again, these are your periods that go across. They have them color-coded here, and you can see that if you are in period 1, you have 1 energy level. But if you're all the way down here in period 7, you're a big atom. You have 7 energy levels. So just some other facts. All atoms in the same group or column have similar chemical properties because they have the same number of valence electrons. All atoms in the same period or row have similar chemical properties because they have the same number of energy levels. Although you will notice as you go across a period that the atomic number or the number of protons increases by 1. Okay? And the atomic mass gets a slightly larger as well. So let's look at these elements. So what you have to do is match the element on the left that has the most similar characteristics on the right. So basically what you do is you go back to the periodic table, you look for carbon. If what element is listed on the right side is in the same group as carbon, it is the one that's going to have the most in common with carbon. So the elements in the same group have more in common than the elements in the same period. So up and down have more in common than side by side.